Baron Geddon is an incredibly difficult fight now that they've buffed him in Molten Core. So this is going to be yet another resource to help you on your journey to try and overcome this. So 3 heroes that are good against Baron Geddon are Rind, Blackhand, Jaina, and Chargla. I recommend Scale and Steel on Rind, Blackhand. Now, if he's underleveled, you may not even play him from hand, but he has good army slots. So Whelp Eggs with the Flame Burst talent is going to be great for recapturing towers that you may have lost against Baron. Dark Iron Miner with the Dwarven Ambition Fury is going to be his best talent. The gold mines don't really do anything otherwise. Polymorph with Golden Fleece is a really good talent for increasing your economy. Otherwise, you can use Exploding Sheep if you do not have Golden Fleece. Will the Necropolis on Banshee is going to be your best talent because it's going to heal up those fire elementals and the gargoyles that are going to be taking a lot of damage from your flying units that are going around. I like to run one Chimera on the one slow player who's running Gargoyle, and I use Corrosive Breath because it helps you take out the Drakes and the Griffins a little bit more economically without losing your Chimera a lot of the time. And then I like Wing Buffet for Gargoyle to help you engage the boss a little bit more reliably and quickly. Now, I do recommend that your Chimera is at least 24 to 25 and your Gargoyle is at least 26 to 27 before attempting this boss. Now, Chargla, on the other hand, is going to be more of a support, keep things off the base type of playstyle. So we use Cavernous Mist to save gold. It's the one that makes her cost 1. Dark Iron Miner is a great distraction and great for gaining gold. Fairy Dragon with Fey Blessing to buff the Gargoyle and the Chimera. I think it's really important to run this separately from the player who's running the Gargoyle because it allows you to sync up your pushes with only 4 gold on the Gargoyle player and 3 gold on the Fairy Dragon player. Much more effective. Cold Snap on Blizzard is going to help you kill Drakes at the tower and kill incidental Griffins and whatnot. And then Banshee is really good for peeling your base. Whelp Eggs is really good for retaking towers. And then the Sheep, obviously, is good against the fire elementals. So there are 3 phases in this fight. The first is to take the 4 towers around the map. If you take all 4 towers, Geddon will stop spawning minis. So it's a lot easier to fight him because he has no way to spend his gold. Next phase is about reclaiming the towers that Geddon takes as he pats past them. So you want him to pat past them before you try and retake them. Then you use things like Blizzard to slow them down from repairing. And then you use Whelp Eggs to reclaim them in the lava or Dark Iron Miner to reclaim them on the land. Finally, you will want to engage him in this little kill window at the northern end of your base. He spawns 8 fire elementals when he phase shifts, and he spawns a fire tornado that kills everything that it touches, including the towers. So it's really important to avoid these mistakes. The first is engaging Baron Geddon at a tower. The reason for this is if you engage him in a tower, there's a very high chance that you may cause him to phase shift. And when you phase shift him, he kills everything around him. He kills all the units around him in a small radius, and then he spawns 8 fire elementals. And he can only do this once every 2 minutes, but you'll notice on his health bar, he has 2 little arrows, and those are when he phase shifts. So basically, once you start the first phase shift, you're going to want to try and kill him within 2 minutes. But if he's right next to your tower, it's impossible to defend that tower because he's going to destroy it every time that you try and defend it, which means that eventually he's going to take it and then he's going to spawn a bunch of units because he hasn't been able to spawn or spend his gold up to this point. The next thing is to not chase him with a Banshee going into a tower because it causes him to delay around the tower and it makes it a lot harder to defend it. The final thing is your units, you want to try and spread them out while you're playing. If you do not spread them out, he will living bomb and he will kill all of them. So it's really important to kind of like put different units in different areas of the map at different times without trying to engage him explicitly. You're basically just trying to gain control of all 4 towers without really engaging him. And then when he gets to this northern kill window, that's when you want to set up the kill. If you are over-leveled or have good levels, you may be able to just brute force them down and ignore the towers entirely. However, I think if you're at a level disadvantage, the tower strategy is the preferred strategy. My partner is going to be doing most of the pushing, and I'm going to be doing most of the defending. So starting off here, I'm going to buff my allies Chimera with my Fairy Dragon, and this is going to allow that Fairy Dragon to take on the Drake that's going to spawn here very shortly. And then the Fairy Dragon and the Chimera are going to do pretty good damage to this Gargoyle because they have the Poison talent. And if I really was concerned about this Chimera on the left, I could polymorph the Drake just to buy a little bit extra time for the Chimera to deal with it. But because of the resistance, the Chimera is able to deal with the Drake and the tower very well. I'm going to use this Chargla to help defend. Unfortunately, there's a Bat Rider right behind it. So I have to use Blizzard to try and defend that. I'm going to use Whelp Eggs to try and slow down this Drake, and I'm going to use the Dark Iron Miner to distract once again. I see that this Fire Elemental is kind of low health, so I'm just going to allow it to be tanked naturally by the base. I've been kind of in a bad rotation, so I have to use my Blizzard on a 1 HP Drake, unfortunately, here, but it's better than the Drake getting close and neutralizing my Charglet and putting a burn effect on the base. Now, it would have been nice if I used my Fairy Dragon more to the right there. I actually tapped on the far right of my screen, but there's a glitch where it thought that I was tapping near the middle, and unfortunately, I didn't get to buff the Chimera as a result. So that may be something you notice when you're doing it, that's why it happened. But yeah, the placement zones are a little wonky for whatever reason. If you try and place too far to the right, it just defaults to the middle zone. So I'm going to use this Banshee to push on the left. And this is actually a mistake because it's going to make it impossible to reclaim this tower as Baron Geddon is going to be delayed. So I'm going to use this Blizzard to try and stop the tower from rebuilding in hopes that the Fire Elemental gets killed quickly. But unfortunately, it's not going to work out for us. I'm going to buff this Gargoyle with the Elemental Resistance. Now, what I should have done here is I should have dropped the Dark Iron Miner immediately behind the base as the Geddon was padding past. And I'm pretty confident that the Dark Iron Miner would have at least slowed down the tower from rebuilding, and I would have been able to keep it. And then I could have used the Whelp Eggs in the lava just below that tower to pop them quickly and then go and take that tower and defend it against the Fire Elemental that was padding past as well. So now I'm going to use my Charglet to hold this Fire Elemental and the fire, and I notice that there are two coming, so I'm going to go ahead and use my Polymorph. At level 26, it will kill the Fire Elementals in the lava, but mine is level 25, therefore you need to do just a very slight amount of damage to make sure that they die. So this is actually really nice to show off here. Basically, Baron Geddon will Living Bomb any large group that you have because the game is basically just detecting how much gold you've played and says, oh, this is a good target for Living Bomb. Sometimes I'll just use it randomly on towers as well. I don't know what's going on with that. We're going to use Blizzard here at the top right to slow down the tower from reconstructing, which is going to allow Baron Geddon to pass by and give us time to drop Whelp Eggs to try and take back the tower if needed. I see that Fire Elemental moving beyond the tower, so I'm a little bit afraid that's going to stop me from taking it, so I go ahead and drop the Whelp Eggs right next to the tower. I distract this Drake with my Dark Iron Miner, which allows me to spin it away from the base and prevent my base from taking any burn damage. Meanwhile, my partner has kind of just been placing Chimeras and Wrens around the map to try and challenge the towers and keep our presence on the field very strong. And they have also been applying Dark Iron Miners around the gold mines to keep our economy going as well. So I'm going to use this Blizzard to clear out these air units as we try and take the top left tower back, something we're waiting to do before we engage Baron and push him down. Now you'll note here that you can push him early before overtime, but once I think it's 5 or 6 minutes have elapsed, you get 2 times gold, and that makes it a lot easier to beat him because he's not spawning any minis when he has no towers. So if you're going to use a strat of trying to finesse him down with lower levels, you're going to want to do so in a way where you have control of the way the game is going. So to do that, you see here, I'm using my Blizzard on the tower. He spawns 2 Drakes into it and a Griffin. And that gives me a lot of value. That's why I like to use my Blizzards around the towers as much as possible because it baits the CPU into doing that. And now we're going to take this tower back at the bottom left. And this is how you do it. Basically, just look where he's standing. He's standing right to the left of that little land outcropping on that volcano. And that's when I know I'm safe to drop my Whelp Eggs in the bottom left and take back the tower. And now we're going to take back the tower at the top left as we have. So we have all 4 towers now, and we're in a great position to push the Baron into his final phase. We just need to take this tower at the bottom right if possible. I see that a Fire Elemental is coming, so I know that we have plenty of time to kind of deal with this. I'm actually not going to play this Banshee for as long as possible, because I want the Baron to pat past that tower. I timed it. I greeted it a little bit. I went a little early, But I'm going to use a blizzard to delay the tower from capping, and this is exactly where we want to be at. So the Baron has moved into the little kill window here, so this is exactly where we want to fight him. We're going to buff the gargoyle with our fairy dragon, and the gargoyle should be able to just phase him on his own. So the rend was a little bit excessive there. We're going to use the polymorph on the top right tower, and I instructed my partner to use their polymorph on the bottom left tower to help clean that up. And then I used my whelp eggs on the bottom right tower, and there happened to be a chimera that was padding by that helped get it back. I'm going to use Dark Iron Miner just to slow the boss from moving too far forward, and I'm going to coordinate with my partner for them to drop their gargoyle so that I can drop my fairy dragon to buff it. You'll see here the fire tornado is just going to take the tower back. There's nothing we can do about it. So in order to delay them from spawning anything, you'll notice they still haven't spawned a single mini. We're going to use Blizzard to just do a little bit of damage to it. Now, what I should do here is I should drop a set of whelp eggs on the left just as the tornado's going past to recap that tower, but I do not do that. And I should be using my polymorph to kill those fire elementals as they're passing by as well. But as a result of not doing that, we're going to have to all in the boss. So because we didn't do that, we're going to use a Banshee to keep these units off of our base because we're pretty low health. I was a little bit slow with that polymorph. I'm going to use a little bit of extra damage on Blizzard on the boss. The guard is going to help clear this out. We're going to use whelp eggs to just nuke him down as fast as possible. And that's how you kill him. Basically get him in that kill window at the top and control the 4 towers. Maintain your control on them as long as possible. And then all in him when you are running out of resources to do so. And that's going to be it for the video. Thank you all for watching. And I'll catch you all on the flip side. Take it easy. Bye-bye.